Hey guys, welcome once again to the Raj Kaul podcast. And you can probably see on the title who I've got today. I've got a great artist. I've been a fan of this guy like for ages, and I thought he was part of the Sahotas. So, but we're going to clarify that as the journey goes on. Over to Harvey Sahota, bro. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Thank you for firstly having me on. It's a great pleasure to be on. When anyone ever asks you to come onto a podcast, I always feel, I've done something right to be wanted to be on the program. And of course, I've heard about you and you've done some amazing shows. So again, that's a double bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the podcast, as you know, it's about musical excellence, about me finding me learning off other singers and their journey as well, and not only singers, musicians as well. It could be anyone. Like I've got quite a varied people, and also industry experts as well. So recently we had Apache on, and that blew up quite a bit. So it's actually a pleasure having you, bro, because I'm a fan of your singing style, and I want to get to know your journey and how you even developed your voice, because it's the hottest.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start from the start before we get into that? Just let everyone know where you're from and a bit about your background.
So I'm actually from London, which again is something that comes as a surprise to a lot of people that don't actually know me. So they're always like, "Oh, I thought you were a Midlands boy." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I guess that's again, it's got to do with the Sahotas connection, which again, I don't blame people, to be honest. It kind of is. Yeah, I've lived in London all my life. However, I do love the Midlands. I do. I love coming up there. I've got lots of cousins and family up there. So yeah, I'm always up there doing things with family and friends and other musicians and stuff. So yeah, it's a second home. Let's put it that way.
It's the home of mixed grills, as we know.
It is, mind you. London's getting there.
It's catching up now. It's catching up.
It doesn't. But yeah, I won't mention the name of the place, but yeah, it doesn't quite match.
There's too many here now, though. There's too many here now. There's too many here in Birmingham now. There's loads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, I guess it is mixed grill central there. So yeah, I'll give you that.
So my wife's from Hounslow originally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so she's from there originally, so I know a bit of London.
West London's is a little bit more advanced on the mixed grills, I'd say, than East London, which is where I'm from. I'm from East London.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a thing. There's an East-West London thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, with Upper there is. There's like, East London's the best and West London's the best, but
really?
West London, hats off to West London for the mixed grills.
Yeah, there's this place called Garahi's. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's in Hounslow, I think. Garahi's, and oh gosh, man, honestly, the food there, it's like a restaurant more than a mixed grill, like a restaurant style. But the food there, I'm a foodie, as you can tell. We're talking about food starting off.
Yeah, so
So when we meet up, we're going to go for a mixed grill, and that's what it is.
Absolutely, 100%. Especially if I'm in the Midlands.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to go for a mixed grill. So that place, I've got to say, right, that place is up there with some of the best mixed grills in Birmingham, and it's called Garahi's, and it's owned by Up and Abandon.
Yeah, I will have to check it out, bro.
I'm really sorry, fish there. It's better than anything I've had here.
Okay,
honestly. And he cooks it right in front of you. He cooks it right.
That is one of my favorites. That is one of my favorites. So yeah, definitely have to check that out.
Anyway, so back to your journey.
Yeah.
Watch, Harvey, you're going to find a lot of this where we're just going to go off on a tangent.
Oh, that's fine, mate. I'm used to that. I'm used to that, going off on tangents. I go off on tangents myself. Just earlier on, I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine. He's also another singer and musician, Shin Cobra from the old Cobra band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he lives around the corner, and me and him become quite close friends. Yeah, and we do, a lot bit of work together.
You've done tracks with him, haven't you? You've done tracks with him.
Yeah. I kind of support him on the technical side, and the studio side of things. We've helped. He's got a studio. He's got his own studio, Havili Studios in Ilford. So he does most of his work in there, and you'll find me in there now and again, just kind of helping him out and just doing bits and bobs. And you know, he's a great guy anyway, and it's good fun to be doing music with someone that loves music as much as you do. So we do a lot of work together. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so the point of that was we was having a conversation
yeah.
this morning, and we just started going off on all different tangents. So yeah, I'm used to that kind of
There you
conversation flow.
go.
Yeah,
We get on
we do
already, and
that.
that's what it is.
Not a problem, not a problem, brother.
So, to tell me a bit about your like background in terms of like your upbringing and your Gardam Hall. What was your household like in terms of listening music, and
Well,
just was it strict or like was it all orthodox, or were they a bit more chilled? Or
I would I would love to say they were quite modern, but they weren't. So it's but they weren't that strict either. You see, I'd call it middle of the road because as a family, we had grandparents around. They were
yeah,
quite stoic, and Karch Punjabi bolo,
yeah, yeah.
Idani, that sort of upbringing. My dad, he used to love listening to music, so he would bring cassettes. Back then, it was all about cassettes. Play them in the car, and so my kind of journey with music kind of probably started there. Is listening to Gurdas Maan and you know
Absolutely, man.
Chamkila and those classic artists. Um, and then 80s was an explosion of UK Bhangra.
Yeah,
I remember my first experience of UK Bhangra was it was a LARP, and they were going to come on British TV. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like I can't really remember the name of the program. It was such a long time ago. I'm about to give my age away here, but it was such a long time ago. But I remember being a kid, really, really young, and my parents and like my uncles and aunties, they had come over to watch this program about a LARP, and they were going to sing "Bubby in It, Bubby It" live on TV.
was that
Like
Network East, or was it on Network East, or was it on
it was. This was
on?
before that.
So
This was like
wow,
late at night. This is like when BBC Two used to give Up in a little slot,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, musical slot. It's them times. And I remember being a young kid, and I heard that song for the first time, and it was absolutely crazy because up until then, we hadn't really heard any of that UK Bangla sound. So I'd say Allah, and then obviously Hira. The whole 80s and 90s was a proper explosion of music, and that's where I started listening to it like properly,
Hmm.
and then obviously then there's the weddings and stuff, and then the bands would turn up at weddings. We didn't have no DJs back then. As little kids, we just used to sing in bands. So throughout that whole period of weddings, and so that's kind of where my influences have come from. It's like 80s UK Bhangra, really. A
Absolutely.
lot. Well, I went mad when the Hidas album came out. Diamonds. That was probably one of the best albums I've ever heard. It's probably even now, if looking back, it's probably one of the
There's
most.
so much
And obviously,
variation, Harvey. There's so much variation in those albums that is never replicated now. I don't care who you are, you can't touch those
no, I
albums.
mean, look, you know as well as I do as a musician. Everybody, despite what people say, our music all sounds the same these days. There still is a signature there.
Yeah,
You do recognize someone's signature, but I guess back then it was very limited. So we've gone from like having like, let's just say, four bands in the early 80s, and then by the 90s there was about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bands. So the progression is there, and I guess as time got on, you could start seeing, like, for example, remember Excellency,
amazing band, dude.
right? But didn't some of their music sound like it was DCS?
It's because of Danny Chirangi.
That's right. And there you
Yeah,
go. So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Signature is there,
yeah, yeah,
and but nobody would have complained about it back then because we only had like 13, 14, 15 bands.
yeah.
So it was all good. It was all good. But yeah, so that's the kind of music that I guess still does to this day influence me. So my journey really started there. I hadn't really played any instruments. I wasn't even interested in doing music back then. I was just a pure Bangla listener
So did
as
you
a kid.
sing when you were a kid, or how did the
No,
singing
no,
come to fruit?
not even at all. Look, the most musical bits I ever did was do Bhangra at weddings. I used to love going on the dance floor and just dance to songs as a kid. You know, if the band were playing, I didn't really have any interest back then. I would say my musical interest probably came years and years later, probably around when I was like 15, 14 with the Dawl. That's how it started for me. I saw it on TV once, and I think had Shinda, I think Shinda had released Dawl Beat. That really fired up the Dawl for a lot of people around my age. And it was just like, wow, I want to play that. And then my cousin had one, and he lived in Walsall, so he didn't play it anymore. And he was only doing it because he was part of the Bhangra group, dance group up near Wolverhampton, Walsall. He gave me the Dawl, so big up Gudge for that, starting me on the instrument journey. And he gave it to me, and all I did was I came up. I didn't know how to play it, so I was just giving it a go, because in East London we didn't really have anyone around to teach. So I had to go and find someone to teach me. And I think a good few years later, I'm just messing about on it myself and listening and trying to self-taught, basically, it went. It was only until I met Steve Jugnal Bhangra Group from Gravesend. He really put me on a different path. Yeah, but that was many years later, and I realized I've made so many mistakes learning. But that's the journey, isn't it?
Absolutely,
yeah. So I have Steve to thank a lot for that. So big up to him, and he's actually known by Shin GC now.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So Shin GC was originally, who's now a fantastic producer out of Gravesend. So he does a lot. I meet him every now and again, but he started off as Jugnal Bhangra Group's Dawl player.
I did not know that.
And boy. Yeah, and boy, that guy can play that Dawl, man. I mean, some of the stuff he's played in front of me, it's just like phenomenal stuff. Them boys in Gravesend, they really learnt their Dawl craft. And it's him. There's Bill. Bill, Machine Gun Billy. That's what they call him. He's another fantastic. I think he played with the 4x4 Bhangra dancers. Still does, probably.
I'm a 4x4,
yeah. So they're Dawl players. So he's one of Jazzy B's Dawl players. Favorite Dawl players is Bill. Not sure if he plays anymore, but he did for a very long time, and he was so good at it and so fast. The nickname Machine Gun Billy.
Wow.
So and then. Yeah, so there's a couple of other guys in Gravesend who, they really got stuck into their Dawl, and and I was in awe of just watching, just sitting there watching them. You're a musician yourself, and when you see another good musician in front of you, you're just sitting there, you're thinking, wow, how is he doing that? And
absolutely,
that was me. Yeah. That was me after spending like 4 years thinking I was a Dawl player, and then I went to see Steve, and then he just showed me like 2 minutes worth of Dawl playing, and I was like, I'm nothing. So, reality check time. But yeah, it was good. I love the experience of that. A couple of years playing Dawl. Then I went off to university, and that's where I kind of really got together with my friend Amit, who used to play keyboards. And it was then I think we started to dabble in. You play that, I play Dawl. And then I went on to learn Dalkey from, unfortunately now the late Dasim Kalyan, who is Sunil Kalyan's dad.
Yeah.
Father. Unfortunately he passed away last few years. So he was my ustad for a good few years, and I learned Dalkey and a little bit of tabla, but mostly Dalkey.
Wow.
So I transitioned from the Dawl and kind of went more into that sound, the Dalkey sound.
So this is when you were at uni, sort of.
Yeah, so this was I'd probably say like late college and early uni, and then throughout uni, I was learning Dalkey.
So what were those lessons like? Did you learn was it more like a traditional learning, or was it like
all the balls,
the ball? That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
all the balls and the beats. I was in a class with other students. Most of them were like young kids, so I kind of felt a little bit out of place. But hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. You got to learn. You got to learn.
Yeah.
So I used to learn that. I used to come down to Ilford, and a few times, and this again, musical journey is one of those things. I wanted it to learn Dorky from, you know, back then I didn't know who he was. They used to just call him Kelly, and then I started Kelly for me. And then I ended up realizing that Sunil Kalyan was his son, and he'd come down a couple of times and take over the lesson. And again,
It's
phenomenal magician,
phenomenal, isn't it?
phenomenal.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And you just sit there watching these guys, and you just in awe, and you think, what you think you're never going to get there, but
Yeah.
practice makes perfect, and obviously they have. But it's just again, so I got to meet him, so that's almost like an influence
Wow.
on some of
So,
my
so what was
music.
your routine like at that time? Because obviously, like when you start learning something, you have to sort of have a this is the part, the musical excellence part of the podcast. That
Yeah,
most musicians are a lot of musicians who take their craft seriously, they have some sort of whether it's intentional or not, that's a different case. But you end up having some sort of routine, whether it's rigid or it's quite loose. Was there something like that for you when you were learning Dolki?
so I'll tell you what, I was so mad about the Dorky and that sound, and I was so obsessed with listening to things I'd heard on tapes and albums, and by now CDs were out, that I just wanted to replicate it right there in front of me. So I went on stupid. I mean, I used to sit there like first thing in the morning, just on the sofa and just playing along. I didn't really have a fixed time, but I was so obsessed with it.
It's
And at
amazing.
uni, I'd play it all the time. Like shit, I've got to go to my lesson. Oh, no, just another 5 minutes. I'd put tracks on and play along, and that was kind of how I put what I'd learned in the class to practice.
Wow.
And and this is where obviously one major influence into the kind of stalky style of playing I went into was Sahotas. So
How were you exposed
I
to Sahotas first? Was it through practice or sets or?
no, no, literally again, just because, like I said, I was an avid Bhangra music listener, UK Bhangra music listener, and I was listening to all these bands, and then I mean, I hadn't even heard of the Sahotas' first two albums. So I mean, Gidabal, and then there was Arja. It was only
Right.
till Ishq came. It was only till Ishq came along, and they did something on that album. Which even if you listen to Gidabal and you listen to Ishq, two totally different sounds in it. It's almost like they were on their own little journey.
Yeah.
We got to Ishq, they just nailed. They just nailed
The
that rhythm.
sound, didn't it?
There was something, and I think it was just again, it's right time, right place. That album came along at the right time. Was when synths and everything else was just coming in,
Yeah.
like big style into the music industry. And then that dorky sound, and then you had Purdy Bogle on the mix, and they, Mukhtar, Serge, Raj, they created this sound that just blended one instrument into the next, and it was absolutely unique, and that got me. I was like, what is this? And then that's pretty much after Ishq, I was obsessed with Sahotas. I was literally just obsessed, and that's all I would listen to. And then Hustle Girl came out, it was game over.
Yeah,
As
Hustle
soon
is
as that,
probably the greatest track, one of the greatest tracks ever.
soon as that, soon as that song dropped, bro, it was the only cassette in the car, and it would get rinsed. I think I had about 3 copies of it because it would just get rinsed. People get sick of it. People used to get in my car, and that's all I had on. They go, "Please change the track." And I'll be like, "Just one more go, just one more go." That's how obsessed I was about the Sahota's
But
music
no,
and that.
have
And
you
then
know?
it
But
just
no, sorry, Harvey. No one's
yeah,
been able to replicate anything close to that. Even
no,
today,
no,
come on, let's be honest. Can you? I'm not about like okay, great tracks. I'm not about like the level of sound, the uniqueness of that track. No one's ever
yeah.
come close to that today.
I,
It's just
I think lightning in a bottle, lightning in a bottle, I'd say. But I will also say this: there were, as much as people loved Bhangra, Sahota's had this kind of Marmite effect. You
yes,
know,
they did.
right? You either loved them
You
and
hated
it
them.
was
Yeah.
just 100%, or you just hated them. And I had friends at college and at uni. They were like, "Oh man, turn this off. It's not. This is not. This is not Punjabi music. This is not Bhangra music." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you know." For me, that was the sound. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the rest. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a true Bhangra head. I love Punjabi music. I love Bhangra music. But for me, Sahotas was like the favorite. You know, it's like your favorite food. It's like your favorite thing on the menu. You're just gonna go for it all the time. Yeah, you're gonna appreciate the rest of the menu, but that's gonna be the one that's gonna hit the spot. For me, that's kind of where my want that drive to try and do this sort of music happen. At the same time, I was learning Dorky, and again, I just started playing that Sahota style of Dorky. I used to annoy Kelly, your star Kelly. I used to annoy him because he used to, why are you trying to play that style? That's the one I like. And he'd be like, all right, Chal,
Can you
yeah,
explain to
that's
me,
your
like,
style.
I'm not a percussionist at all, so my percussion
Yeah.
understanding is a bit limited, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain to me what the difference was, if possible, what the difference of that style and the difference of what was unique about their percussion that made it stand out,
So,
in your words?
so, so this obviously I learned this much later on in my musical journey, which I'll touch on a bit later. But basically, it's so Indian instrumentation, like rhythms, double R's, starts with a double R. Really, they have houses, and each
Yep.
house of tabla has a sound,
Yep.
certain style, karana they call it.
Yeah, right.
Again, I didn't really deep dive too much into that classical side of things. You know, I was probably never built for that in that way because I'm Bangla, and I just wanted to learn that sort of thing. And then again, that's a whole Sahota's influence. I was just focused on that and wanted to recreate that. But Raj's Gala Guru, you know, the one who he looked up to. So this is Raj Sahota from the
Mm-hmm.
Sahotas. It was Ustad Dari. So I don't know if you've heard of Ustad Dari,
So
but
Tariq Khan.
yes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Absolute legend.
right. So if you ever watch any of his like videos or you know stuff that he plays on live, you'll notice that he has a certain signature sound the way he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Again, probably from the house he's come from. It's got this unique style of playing. You know, there's more emphasis on the slides on the bass end.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
There's more emphasis on the kind of Gerwa beat that there is.
Yeah.
You know, there's more emphasis on
Do you want to
the
explain what
groove.
Gerva is to the listeners, because it's
So the Gerwa is basically what most store players would know
just
as
tell them what beat cycle. It's
the
60.
jar.
It's not
No,
60.
no, it's just
Eight, isn't it? Or six? Eight.
it's a straight 4
Yeah.
4 beat,
Yeah. Okay.
8 beat, 4 beat. You know, it's a straight looped sample.
Yeah.
It's what's on most Bhangra music, basically, the Gerwa. You know, on the door it's called the Jal.
Yeah.
Or, you know, kind of based around that. But yeah, so the emphasis on that talkie was almost about like a closed bass. You know, the slides, you know, me and Ustad Kelly used to call it the whoops because it was always sudden that sort of sound.
Now that you've said it, I can hear it now.
There you go. So
Now that you've said it, I can hear it.
yeah, and again, I was obsessed with creating that sound, trying to find that myself. And then I obviously started following the Sahotas where they were gigging. And then all of us, one time, I just ended up meeting Raj Sahota at a gig. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I was in uni at this time. And I do remember, I think it might have been in West London somewhere. Can't remember the name of the venue. Park Royal, I think. Park Royal. So for all the Bangla heads from back in the day, they know that venue. Zeniths. can't believe I'm saying this now. Yeah, but Zeniths. It was Zeniths in Park Royal in London.
That
And I
rings a
think they were
bell to
playing
me
it
as well.
live. Sorry?
That rings a bell as Zenith. I don't
Yeah,
know
it was a
for Birmingham, but it's
very popular Bangla venue. And yeah, I ended up meeting him there, and we just got talking because literally all I would do, and this probably sounds really sad, but I would watch the band. There was people around just dancing away, enjoying. Not say I wasn't enjoying the music, but I would literally watch the band do their thing. You know, there'd be like VJ. He was always on, well, facing. He was always on the left, Mukhtar on the right. You know, then you had Parkish on the drums and Raj next to him. You know, and then either Riley on the bass and then Serge in front. But I was constantly just looking at the musicians and what they were doing and the sound, and I was just so engrossed in the music and the fact that they could recreate it live, what was on the tape. You know, again, that just comes from the musicians taking part in the recording process, which again doesn't happen today, but we've moved on. We've absolutely moved on from those times. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met him. So introduced myself to him, told him, you know, who was my ustad. He happened to be friends with the ustad. We got talking, and that's it. We just kind of became sort of friends after that, kind of just talking about music.
So how did I asked loads of details? Sorry.
So basically, kind of once the band stops playing, normally the DJ takes over, and then the band start packing their stuff up. Yeah. But I kind of hung around that front bit where the stage was, and kind of just waved at him, just say hi. And then he came over and, you know, we started talking, and I said, "Oh man, I love the way you play talkie. It's a real honor to meet you," which it was. And then I said, I'll play talkie as well, you know. And he goes, "All right, do you?" And he goes, "Well, who are you learning off?" And then I said, "Oh, it's you know, Ustad Kelly." He goes, "Oh, Kelly from Alap. Yeah, I know him." And I said, yeah. And then he goes, "All right, good." And he goes, "Look, I've got to go." I said, "Look, I'd love to talk to you a bit more." And then obviously swap numbers, and then we started giving each other phone calls and stuff, and like, you know, it just became like a friendship after that. So I'd ring him every now and again, talk about, you know, "Oh, Raj, I'm trying to learn this talkie," and he go, "Oh yeah." And after a while, it, you know, came up north. You know, we met up, went around his house, spent some time with him, learning, looking at, you know, how he's playing, looking how he's playing tabla, and it was just, for me, it was just a surreal.
Wow, man! So you became really good friends with him, like
yeah, and that's how it kind of started. My kind of Gala Sahotas journey started, and it was just the maddest thing. Just watching him play and then learning, oh, so that's how you do that, and so he became almost like, you know, my second ustad, really. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was always in awe watching him play, because it just makes it look effortless. Such a brilliant talkie player. You know, there's quite a few of them out there, you know, but again, that style, that certain sound, no one else could do it any better.
I can't get it out of my ears now. Now that you mentioned it,
that's
like I can.
That's it.
I can hear it now.
It's you know, it got labelled like the Sahotas talkie sound. So, and again, like I said, I was obsessed with it. I was just mad about it. And yeah, so that journey from there kind of, I guess it took a natural progression. So me and Amit, we started making music, just playing live music. You know, he'd be on the keys, I'd be on the talkie, and we just play random songs, just play them together. And I just kept getting more and more involved in, oh, how have they made that? So my journey as a musician went from talkie, and then I met a gentleman called Manjit, who had previously done some work with Pradesi. Mm-hmm. I think one of his uncles was in Pradesi. I met him through work in London, and he was here studying. You know, we were studying at our uni, but we were working. And again, he introduced me to Cubase and, you know, sequencing. You know, back then it was like PCs hadn't really taken off in a big way yet, so it was the old Atari.
Was it Atari ST? Was it?
ST, I think it was.
Because my cousin Suki Chan.
Right.
Yeah, he's
so my mum's son.
So Suki Chan, when I used to go to his house, he was on his Atari ST, and
there you go. And that's where it all started. And you know, he introduced me to sequencing, and you know, he helped us put a couple of songs together. They never really went anywhere, but it was a very good experience. So now I was kind of really getting into it. So I've got Manj teaching us sequencing, me and Amit messing about keys and dorky. Then I've got Raj influencing that kind of dorky and Sahota sound. And our friendship just got stronger and stronger. And then one day, I happened to be at a gig. Sahotas were there, and then I ended up getting backstage with them because of Raj. And then I got introduced to the whole band.
Wow, that must be like a moment for you.
Hey, like I said, it's one of those moments you got to pinch yourself, because just imagine, from a kid, you're listening to their albums, and now all of a sudden you're in the mix. You're just there, and they're all around, and they're talking, shop, and you're just like, I can't believe I'm here, that sort of thing. And meeting Serge was just something else, because he's obviously the front man. He's the guy with the voice, and it was just crazy. And after a while, because I was hanging around with Raj in those days, I ended up going to the gigs with them.
Wow.
You could say sort of as a roadie, Keller. To me, I was just happy to be there. But what I was learning was fantastic. I was getting to have conversations with Mookie, getting to have conversations with VJ. Obviously, Raj was my friend anyway now.
Yeah.
And then, conversation with Serge about vocals, and just watching them set up on stage. That was phenomenal. Just doing their sound check,
That
I'll
must
always
be
treasure
crazy. So sound check.
I will always treasure those moments, because that taught me a lot. At that time, I didn't realize, but going forward in my journey, I always took what I learned then and I applied it forward. It's just how precise they were, all of them, in what they wanted, in the sound, in the way that they worked with each other on stage. Even like watching Mookie set up, he had such a complicated setup.
Unbelievable. I did a podcast with Mukhtar. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it.
Masterclass.
Yeah,
Masterclass.
I mean, he's just like a wizard.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe him. He's like a
Yeah.
wizard on the keyboards. He's highly respected musician, highly respected, and I was just glad to have got like a glimpse. I was on the road with them probably about a year, or just less than a year. I think I got to go to about 4, maybe 5 gigs with them. But it was such a phenomenal experience. Just watching them set up, helping them set up, carrying their key. You're this kid like from East London, and now you're carrying like Mukhtar's keys. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're a fan, then it's everything.
Yeah, it's massive.
Most people will say, "Leh, good, but it's not about that. It's about how it makes you feel, isn't it?" And as a musician,
Absolutely.
you might understand this if you meet your kind of heroes,
Yeah,
for
man.
one of what they are, and then and you love their music, and then now you're in the thick of it, and you're just happy to be there doing whatever's there.
I don't think
And then
people
being
understand.
backstage, the thing is, sound out there when you're in the audience is obviously different.
Yeah.
But when you're literally standing in the corner of the stage at the back, and you can hear all these things going on around you, like live, raw. Because what the audience hears out there is obviously like a mixed
Yeah,
down.
it's mixed down and yeah.
Yeah, it's all properly done. It's all balanced. Being on the other side of that, and being on the stage and hearing all this rawness going on around you, from the dorky to the keys, and watching Mukhtar change as he's going from piece to piece, sound to sound, and watching him play, phenomenal stuff. Even like VJ, the kind of backings that he did. Again, I learned so much because of that. So I actually have, Sahotas to thank hugely, immensely, for stuff I've been doing, stuff I've done.
So before we get to the stuff you've done.
Yeah,
So I want to get into your singing part. Like
yeah,
your voice is the style is so similar to Sahotas. Was that
yeah.
natural, intentional, or was that your natural
Do you know
singing,
what?
or did you adjust it, or how did that come about?
So here's the thing, isn't it? So I singing like obviously everybody sings along to songs, right? And I again, like I said, singing along to UK Bhangra, it's not really like singing along to folk songs.
Hmm.
The UK Bhangra vocalists, Hira Allah, even like Shin DCS, it's not really folk. It's not
No,
that
it's a genre of
raw
its own.
Galit folk sound. It's vocally, it's not, you know, it had almost, it was almost like Bhangra pop, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that pop kind of vocal on it. It's like easy going, easy on the ear. It's not that harsh, smash vocal type, folk type sound. So if I grew up with that, and then don't forget, once the Sahotas came along, that's all I'd ever listened to. So then I'm singing like that, just along. And after a while, I guess I just started singing like that, not because I adjusted my voice or I thought, right, that's the style I'm going to
Mm-mm.
have. That's just how my voice came out. It wasn't. I didn't intentionally think, right, I'm going to sing like the Sahotas. I think it was just a case of I'll try and sing this song. Don't forget by now I've been singing Sahota songs by myself in the car, in the shower,
So
wherever.
was that your training basically? Like I'm
But
assuming this
you
now.
could say that that's where my training came from, is by singing Sahota songs. I mean, literally, they've got like 8, 9 albums, and I probably sang my way through all 9 like 50 million times because I liked it, just because that was what I liked listening to.
Mm.
Not saying I wasn't listening to anything else, but like I said, I just kept going there again and again and again, and that's probably the most basic Gela.
Riaz.
No, that's a basic explanation I can give you as to why my voice
Gotcha.
sounds like Serge's. You know, I guess it's someone who, let's just say, like Jazzy B. He probably listened to Galit Manik
Yep.
forever from a child,
Yep.
and then when he eventually came out, everybody said, "Oh, he sounds like Galit Manik." And then later on, we find out, yeah, that's who his guru was. That's the guy he
Yep.
looked up
Looked
to,
up to you.
and he's not made any qualms about that. So in the same sense, I guess, that's that. Serge is my guru in essence. But spending time on the road with him, he was able to give me tips
Wow.
and
Any
you
any
know,
any
t-
insightful tips that he gave you want to share with the audience, or
oh,
because
well,
people don't know this, and I'm fascinated by it, and I'm sure
yeah.
listeners do.
No, it was just tips like, obviously, when they were doing their sound checks and things, I'd noticed that Serge, how he would like control his mouth from the microphone. If he was singing some loud bits, step back a bit, and then he would talk me about, on the budja, that the main 2 keys to kind of practice on was the sa, the black, first black,
Yeah,
and the second black.
Belakala, yeah.
you know that was kind of, he goes, that's where it kind of starts off. Get that note solid. you know it's just bits like that. I can't remember exactly everything because it all came in bits and bobs. It wasn't like oh, hi, I've come to learn music
But
off
that's the
Serge. It was always literally a pass and grab moment with Serge,
gosh.
because he was always kind of here and there,
So
trying to set.
did you implement that at home? Because that's the basically that what he's taught you is the foundation of Indian classical music.
It is. Yeah,
That's the
that's right.
foundation of it. So
Yeah.
did you go back and sort of practice
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I mean, it's almost gospel, isn't it? After Serge has said it.
Yeah.
So I kind of came home and I was like, right, that's what I'm going to do.
Did you have a Vajra at
But
home,
again,
or did you have a Vajra at home, or how did you get
yeah,
into the
yeah, yeah,
singing practice
yeah.
bit?
I absolutely. When I first thought, okay, I'd like to learn how to sing, or I'd like to start singing. That kind of where it went. I bought a budger, that's what I used to kind of practice.
So
I've
where
had
did the
about
dream?
two.
So
God,
where did the initial drive come from to switch from Dorky to singing? Is it just looking at Serge, or?
no, well, no, it wasn't just looking at her because obviously I've been watching them guys for years. I think it was just a case of. I think it's a natural progression sometimes if that's the way you're inclined to go. Um, I think a few people had said, "Oh, you can hold a note.
Hmm.
You can. Oh, it's not bad." I mean, I probably sounded atrocious at the time, but it was at the time it was kind of maybe perhaps it's the same transition going from door to talkie. I mean, I didn't think I could play talkie at first, um, but then once I started learning, I was like, right, yeah, I'm comfortable with this. And then we moved on to kind of production as well. So just for me, it was natural to kind of want to do the singing part.
Hmm.
Been singing Sahota songs for years in the car and at home and stuff like that. It was just for me. I just wanted to give it a go. I mean, like I said, not gonna lie, I wasn't very good. Probably still aren't. Probably still am. Not, you know,
Nah,
uh,
you're brilliant, bro.
as
Honestly,
good
brilliant.
as good as. No, no. I mean, you kind of know as a
For
musician where you
me,
kind of start.
for me, when you especially
Yeah,
it's shown the most, we'll talk about that later. But when you did the
yeah,
Sajana, the live set,
yeah,
phenomenal, dude. That was
yeah.
unbelievable. The whole
Yeah.
thing was unbelievable. For like, I've got that on my playlist, so like, I
Ah,
just unbelievable, dude. That was so. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a second. I just want to
yeah.
sort of get more into your the routine you had in terms of singing, because I am always interested what other singers do. So what when you learned that of Serge, what was it? Did you learn off anyone else, or what was your routine at home?
Well, the thing is, obviously, I was Ustad Kelly's uh, student, and he also taught like basic vocal training as well.
Hmm.
And again, so I used to go to him in Southall to kind of get one kind of training. And again, he would turn around and say, "Why are you singing like that?" you know, and I'd be like, "I don't know. This is just how it comes out." He goes, "Change it. Try and sing another way." I just couldn't. I just couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to. I just couldn't take myself off that style. So I thought, in the end, I thought, why fight it? And it
Yeah.
just kind of led me down the path. So in terms of the question that you're asking, like, did I have a routine? I probably, in all honesty, I probably could have had a better practice routine, but I
Mm.
didn't. So it's very, very sporadic. Things are going on. Uni,
Yep, of
was
course.
kind of in the mix, and then you got exams and coursework and
Mm.
stuff. So I didn't really. I guess I could have applied myself better in hindsight,
Mm.
but that's just me being really raw and honest. I probably could have learned, probably could have spent a bit more time
Mm.
learning the craft a bit more better.
But but
But
you but but
when you're young,
you're young, you're naive, and you haven't
yeah,
got that guidance at that time. Like, so if you have a mentor, like an older brother,
yeah.
some of them say, "Well, dude, get to practice."
I know exactly,
Yeah, we don't have
exactly.
that. I didn't have that either. So my
No,
mom, bless her, she always supported my singing, but
yeah,
it wasn't like they didn't know what it takes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think from my parents' point of view, music was probably in terms of the way they looked at things, and my family, music was just like a little hobby thing.
gotcha, yeah.
It's just a hobby, but
Yeah.
focus on your studies and your work.
Little did they know that we're still dreaming, aren't we, Harvey?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think all musicians are dreamers, and I think the ones that actually get to make it their full-time career, Gella, they're very lucky. They're
Yeah,
very lucky, and they probably worked really hard for it. So
yeah,
kudos to them guys, man. But that's just how it works sometimes. But again, we're still here. We're still doing our thing.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, so I didn't really have a routine per se. It would be as and when, and it
So
could
was
be
it
any
mainly
time of the.
was it mainly the Sala areas, or were you doing like rag scales or what?
Yeah, Ustad Kelly taught me like rags. Um, Again, I didn't really go too far into the classical things. I wish I had, but I didn't. In hindsight, probably would have made some better decisions if I had gone in. Probably would have had a better voice, better singing style if I had gone into that classical, but I didn't really. Um, but what I did learn was, about notes, notation, and it helped. And actually, that helped me with production
Absolutely, yeah.
because you get to learn, the variations and the majors and the minors, the fifths,
Yeah.
dominance in the chords and stuff, and it all, from a notation point of view, it makes sense. So that really helped me. It helped me with the singing as well because, then I could hold down chords and sing songs
Hmm.
rather than individual notes, which again, that's probably not how the classical musicians, singers do it. They sing along to each note, whereas I prefer to sometimes hold down chords. It allows me to give a bit more musical expression
Hmm.
and freedom on that point of view. But yeah, it was an interesting time, man. Interesting time.
Okay, so let's move on to. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But what I remember your first song, if I remember listening, was not to the. Is that, am I right, or am I wrong
Greek.
there?
So that was Greek Punjabi.
Yeah, Kudi Punjab. Not to the.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah.
That's
That's
one.
that's the edge. That's the edge. Yeah, that. So again, that was we. Like I said, me and Amit, we started doing this production thing, and thanks to Manj for keeping us on track and teaching us how to use Cubase. We kind of saved up, got ourselves a PC, then we got Cubase, and then we started to dabble in production. We started producing these demos of just music. It
Whose
wasn't even
idea
any
was
vocal.
that? Whose idea was that? How did you come? Oh, did you decide one day I'm going to release a track?
I just well, look, the journey's the journey, and sometimes you don't even remember sometimes what sparked
Yeah,
a specific element of that journey. I mean, you'll probably, if I ask you a question, oh, what made you want to get into music, and you're probably like,
yeah,
there's probably 1,000 things,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you know, I think I just wanted to. We were doing music, and we wanted to get our music out there. That's
yeah,
basically that's like every musician's dream, isn't it?
yeah.
You just want to do something and put it out. And back then, YouTube and you know social media, it was very early stages of that. We're talking like 2002.
It was Zoom Music Box, wasn't it, at that time? I think.
It was well, there was TV.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Z
Everybody
Music
was
Box.
watching.
It was B for you music. Z
That's
Music
it.
Box. Yeah,
Yes, that's it. That's it.
yeah,
So everybody was watching music on TV rather than
yeah,
YouTube. This whole YouTube thing is like, the last, I would probably say 10 years. You
yeah.
know, it's really exploded along with social media. Um, but yeah, so kind of like that around that time, we just wanted to get our music out, and the only way to do that would be to approach it through a record label.
Hmm.
So this is this is kind of where me and Ali also has a few reality checks. So we made all these demos, and one of the demos was we had recorded. I had done my own version of Budgetale, um, almost Sahota style, and I took that and another couple of pieces of music along to. I think we approached Movie Box first, and Movie Box were like, "Yeah, nah, not really our cup of tea." Da, 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 da. So that was a couple of wasted journeys to Birmingham, and then we went to see, I think Envy. That was Viv Naya. I think he used to own it. I think it's gone now, but Envy. Again, that was an up and coming label at the time, and they had like great artists on there, Zeus and Sanj,
Sounds. Yeah.
and that kind of era, and I think they even signed Sahotas on their last two albums, which was Brotherhood
Oh,
and Revolution.
I didn't know Brotherhood was an MV.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So Brotherhood was the first album they moved away from their last record label, which was Roma, I think,
hmm.
which was the Sunia album. You see, I'm a fan of it. I just know it back to front.
Yeah.
Pull out the whole catalog, talk
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, so we went to Envy, and he turned around and he turned around and he said, he goes, why would I want Sahotas Part 2 when I've already got Sahotas? And I was like, well, fair point. You know, I just thought, okay, maybe you'd want another avenue. So that didn't really work out. So we kind of went really disappointed. We went to meet Raj because he was from like Walsall area. So I went to see him, and we were like, man, we got rejected from 2 record labels. And he was like, he goes, don't worry. He goes, if you're serious, he goes, I could have a word. And at that time, I think he had a relative that ran Music World. I don't know if you remember, on Soho Road. Massive shop, cassettes and CDs.
Hi-Fi, you mean?
Music World is like CDs and cassettes. Like,
No,
selling.
No, what was the name of it? How was it called? Was it called Music World? I used to live in
know
Handsworth, so it might be called Hi-Fi.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was called Music World or something like that. It was called.
Achha.
Anyway, the guy's name was Satpal Clare, and he again was another Sahotas fan. And we walked in there, and Raj, knowing him, we walked in there, and he said, "Oh, I've got these guys. They want to do some music." And he goes, "All right, let's have a listen." So he heard the track, and then he heard the other tracks and the other 2 demos. And he goes, "Yeah, man, you guys are happening." And he was like, "Great." So again, I have Sahotas to thank for that first signing anyway. Raj, thank you very much. And so he then signed us on to his label. And we formed our production duo, and the album was called Punjabi X. You know, and that was what Kuri, Punjabi X, and it was the debut album. And he signed us, and he said, "Right, give me Sahota's music," and we were like, "Great," because that's all we got. So, so we kind of fit in for that time, and we kind of just went in and we did stuff with Surinder Shinda on that. We had Master Salim because he had all the vocals.
Yeah.
So we got to work with them artists in that sense. I can't remember who else was on the album. I think it was Master Salim and Surinder Shinda because I liked them vocalists.
Which Master Salim track was it? Was it?
So there were 2 on there.
I remember I used to love a Master Salim track. I can't remember the name of the album.
Yeah. So this album had 2 songs from Surinder Shinda and 2 songs from Master Salim, and then I did 2 songs in it, and then we did like two remixes, so it made it into 8-track album, and so Salim's best track on there is called the Wanija Sharab, and it was
the track, dude. What a track that was.
Yeah. And basically, we made that into like a proper Sahota style reggae track.
I didn't know you guys did that, man. How awesome was that?
Yeah, we did that to Wanija Sharab.
Dude, I'm downloading that now after this podcast.
Yeah, if you can find it. I'm not even sure Punjabi X album's even out there somewhere, but I'm pretty sure it is.
It'll have to be YouTube then.
Yeah. I'm not even sure that track's not even on YouTube, but anyway, technically. But yeah, so I mean, we were over the moon, you know, when we put that album together, and one thing that came out of that was my first vocal song.
Yeah.
And it happened to be Kuri Punjaban.
Yeah. And
to be honest with you, I didn't think my song was going to be the leading track of the album. I thought it would have been Surinder Shinda's Reshmi Garare Waliye, which again was like that kind of up-tempo Sahotas type beat with Surinder Shinda vocals on it. And we thought that was going to be the one that was going to have the video, that was going to be the one that was going to get promoted. And I was just happy to be a part of that whole Punjabi X production unit. And I stuck my 2 songs on there just because I wanted to be a vocalist, and I did it. Turned out, Satpal turned around and said, no. He goes, this is the best song on the album, the Kuri Punjaban song, which was the one that we did last.
Yeah.
It was the last song to go on. And so all this time we're thinking, yeah. And I'm just doing this Kuri Punjaban song. And it was just like, right, this is the one. Went to India, shot the music video. Actually went to Bombay to shoot that.
Really? That's mad.
Yeah, man. That was another surreal experience, you know. back then people were going India to do videos, and we just had the opportunity to go to Film City in Mumbai,
Wow,
and
man.
that's where we shot it with some director who had just done a few crazy videos with some big artists. I don't know how. It's all done on a record label. He sorted all that out.
Was there a train
But it
in
was
it? If I remember correctly, was there a train in
yeah,
it?
that's it.
That's
Yeah,
in
it was
it.
on a
Yeah,
train.
yeah.
So basically, that train platform is the one they use, or they used to. I don't know if they use it anymore, but that was the train platform that they use in all the films.
So I got a good memory in it.
So yeah, so that film Coolie
Yeah,
with Amitabh Bachchan.
yeah.
So they use that platform in that film, and
Don't lie, man. That's
yeah,
mad.
dude. It's just how they dress it up and stuff. But
Wow,
again,
man.
man, that's another part of the journey that was like, wow, we're standing where Amitabh Bachchan stood.
Harvey, you legend,
You
dude.
know,
You
Coolie.
legend.
So again, it's just these things just seemed to happen at the time. It was just like things were working out, and but yeah, so we shot the video, came back, and then we had to delay the album for about 6 months because we had to remix some of the songs that weren't quite up to par. And I think either 2003 late, we released the album with the video, and yeah, it just kind of blew up from there. And it was on TV, it was on Z Music. I like all my relatives ringing up, "Tu kaun aaya?" And I was like, yeah, that's me. They knew I played talkie. They knew I played door, but I don't think a lot of my relatives knew that I
Wow.
was actually doing singing and stuff like that. So it was a big surprise for everybody. But yeah, man, that was a wake up call for me to think, wow, I'm actually here and I'm in it now.
So, can
But
I
then,
stop you?
yeah.
What was the Sahotas reaction to your album?
So I mean, Raj heard it because we were playing Raj
Yeah,
stuff all the
yeah.
time, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is happening." Da, 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 da. And by then, kind of, I had not drifted away, but you know how life just sometimes takes you
Yeah.
in other directions, and we were
Yeah.
busy, and I was trying to, uni had finished, so I was trying to find work after graduating, and again, life gets busy, man. So the whole, and by now, Sahotas had almost died off.
Yeah.
They weren't gigging anymore. I think they had stopped gigging by the time 2001 came out. I think the last time I saw Sahotas live, and I've actually got the DVD. Proudly, I can say, the last time I saw them live, was in Central Park, East Ham in London.
Wow.
I think it was their last ever Mela they did.
You need to put it on YouTube.
Well, I'll keep it for myself. No. I might do one day, man. I might do one day.
You need to upload
I'll have
it
to ask for it.
and just put
I'll
your
have to ask
signature
for
on
it.
it. Yeah, you just put your signature so no one rips it off.
I'll have to ask Serge his permission for it. I'll see what they say first. But yeah, so as I was saying, that's the last time I got to see them live, and definitely it was 2001.
Wow, man.
And we were just starting to play live music together, me and Amit. At that point, coming out of uni, so I kind of drifted away from Sahotas, not Raj, but Sahotas in general. And then I got Raj to play on the album on Punjabi X.
Really?
So he's provided the beats on that album.
Man.
So that's the reason why that album sounds like a Sahotas album, because he's played on it. That's Raj's sound. Me and Raj both shared the beat with him.
That was my next question. How did you produce the sound? Sort of sound, but you've answered that question now.
Yeah. So look, every style of music, there is a formula, and if you study it long enough, you will crack it.
Oh, but you're a legend,
there's
man,
no.
dude. Honestly, you're a legend, dude.
No, I
You
really
got, you
am.
got my
I'm
utmost respect,
really,
bro. Utmost respect.
I really am not anything. I don't see myself as anything amazing
No,
or
for me, you
great.
got my utmost respect, bro, because you've done
I just
something
do.
like,
Look, I'm just a guy that was obsessed with a sound.
yeah,
That's it. I was obsessed, and obsession. You can take it to the nth degree, and I was just
yeah,
so obsessed with that sound and figuring out how they did it, and that obsession took me to becoming friends with Raj, learning that talkie sound, learning some secrets of Raj, of how he performs that slide, how he performs that double beat. That Sahota's
yeah,
talkie sound, which is the that thing, right? Just that. Then there's meeting the band, learning everything what I could pick up off the band. I've enjoyed that whole experience. And then obsessing technically over their sound. Well, how did they do that? How did they make that bass line? How have they done that? What is the
mm,
backing they're using? What organ is that in the back that gives them that reggae undertone? What piano have they used on that song? What's that electric guitar? So, you start learning things. For
yeah,
example,
yeah.
I know Mookie's a Roland fan. So we got Roland. We got Roland XP80s. I've got a Roland XV5080 rack sitting over there. So that's the sound what Sahotas used to use, Mukhtar used to use for the production. So, like I said, there's formulas. If I let's say I used Yamaha or Korg, and this is probably alien to your listeners at the moment, but this is like keyboard musician speak.
That's all right.
You're a musician.
Just keep it simple as you can for the listeners. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Roland is a company that makes keyboards, and there's other companies like Yamaha and Korg.
I've got a
But
Casio here, so
yeah,
just for the
there you go.
listeners. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
yeah,
So Sahotas used Roland. So guess what? We got Roland, and we realized that Mookie uses that certain module, so we got that certain module. So it's once you start adding, so we've got the Dorky sound now. Then we've got the sounds that they used from day one on their albums, and then it's like, okay, well, that's going to stop. That's going to start coming together like the sounds, and then you kind of emulate the kind of style that they play, which is the reggae. It's got a reggae undertone
yeah.
with that style of Dorky.
Sort of
You
UB40 in it. It's sort of
Yeah,
UB40. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's just reggae, isn't it? It's
yeah,
reggae. It's that reggae sound. It's that reggae bubble.
yeah.
The double skank.
The
You're
stabs.
60% there. You're 60% there already. When you get to that point, and then it's just about refining. Well, what other sounds did they use? What were their favorites? So Mookie used to love using santur. That tremolo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we used it. We got it.
And what
We
about the
used it.
mix? And what about the mixing process? Because that obviously the track's made.
Yes.
It's made or it's make or break with down to the mixing process. So who's behind that?
Mixing, I think. So the Punjabi X album, we did that in a studio in Essex, and the engineer there, I guided him to mix it in a certain way because he was a Gora. He didn't know how to mix Indian instruments.
Yeah.
So again, it was like played him a Sahota song. Say that's what we want. That mix, that talkie's got to come up. Talkie bass is there. Vocals have to have this reverb and this delay on it.
Yeah.
And then Kuri Punjaban is like a blueprint from Sahota's music.
Oh,
It's
this has been
it is
fascinating, honestly, because I've got utmost respect for you, bro. Because it's like,
yeah.
it's.
I think one of the things that I figured out early in Sahota's music, and again, I don't want to get too technical because I don't want to bore the listeners.
No,
But
Boris, I don't listeners should. But मैं अपने शौक नहीं करता.
Yeah, and yeah, and again, the obsession leads you down these paths. When you're listening to music and you're
Yeah.
just listening to it so much and trying to get into it and trying to break it apart in your head, you realize that Sahota's bass lines, they're not your usual bass lines. They revolve around the pattern of the talkie bass.
Great.
So if your talkie's doing your bass line, you have to slot it into the grooves
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the
yeah,
talkie is
yeah,
not
yeah.
playing.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, this might
On
be
the
like,
offs, do you mean on the off
yeah,
beats and stuff like that?
on the offs, but not only on the offs. Occasionally on the downbeat, you would hear the bass note collide with the talkie bass at the same time, for the same duration of time, which kind of blended that talkie bass and the bass together. And that's how that sound was so tight and easy to mix, from that point of view. It was just a fascinating, fascinating discovery. And that changed everything,
Dude,
on the way the sound.
as you can probably see, I'm buzzing. You know, you're telling me this, I'm buzzing because it's like, wow, you've recreated the Sahota sound, and it's like, and there's a
Yeah.
bit of genius behind it, bro. Yeah, I just think you're being humble because not
I don't
everyone
think
can
there's
do
any.
that. Not everyone can do that, bro. Honestly, like
Well, that
if I
it's
said to producers now, right, to do that, you had it so perfected, and also you had Raj Kaul on it as well, which is a game changer, isn't it? Really.
yeah,
So
the
yeah,
beats.
yeah. So utmost respect to you,
Yeah,
salute
no,
them.
thanks, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, literally, I don't think there was any. I think obsession is the word rather than genius.
Yeah,
Um, just working it out. It's like I said, you take things far enough,
yeah.
you'll
Well, I'm
break
gonna
it.
send
You'll
this.
break it. You'll
I'm
break it eventually.
I'm gonna send this to all my mates from childhood and stuff. It's like, dude, find out how he recreated the sort of sound because that's stuff of legend. This is like one of my favorite
Yeah,
episodes of my
it
podcast,
was just
honestly.
no. Again, like I said, man. It's just piece by piece.
Yeah,
Obsessively, we got there in the end, and then you look. Then obviously I sang on it, Guri Punjabi, and my voice is like near enough there or thereabouts. So everybody's so Punjabi X has come out and Guri Punjabin's out on TV, and people are thinking it's new Sahotas song.
yeah.
That's what feedback I was getting, and Sahotas have got a new song out. I'm like, no, it's mine. That's how confusing
And the
I
surname
made
as
it.
well. Is that your actual surname, or did you adopt the surname?
No, that's legit. I was born Sahota from Tileta in Bradapend, near Bradapend. So so I am 100% fully fledged uh,
Sahota.
Sahota.
Yeah,
And actually, Stephen Sahota, who is now a
yeah,
vocalist in
yeah,
his
yeah.
own right.
Great vocalist.
Yeah, so he's from Bradapend,
Oh wow,
which is
man.
like literally a mile down the road from my village.
Wow,
So again, yeah, well, Sahotas are coming back, but not in the traditional sense.
wow, man.
Yeah.
That is,
So yeah, yeah. So we got to that point, and then we started doing like gigs and things like that. Not as a live band, as PAs, because
are you up for time,
th-
Serge? Oh, sorry, I called you Sage. Just what's
see that?
going on, my man?
You see that?
Oh dear,
Do you see that?
this is gonna make great content on
You
the
are not.
podcast.
You are not the first,
Oh
and you're
dear,
not going to be the last.
Harvey, I'm so sorry. That's brilliant.
For the viewers at home, this was not a setup. That he actually
No,
did
God,
this. There you go.
gosh.
He's done it. He's done it. There
Oh,
you
that's
go.
too funny. So I was gonna say, Howie, are you up for time, dude? Because we've actually gone 1 hour 10 minutes. And I just want to
Mate,
finish it off. You're up for time, yeah?
yeah, we're good, man. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, because
We're
I'm
good.
I'm in the zone with you, man. Honestly, I'm enjoying this so
Yeah,
much because and really, we have contacted Serge for this, but I think he's been off. He's not doing much stuff
yeah.
like this at the moment. So
No. I
yeah,
think
because I want to
obviously,
speak to them guys. I spoke to Mukhtar. I want Serge on the podcast as well.
mate.
So.
Serge will give you goosebumps, mate. If you interview him, uh, you know.
Make it
I like.
happen, Harvey. You
Yeah,
make it happen, bro. You make it happen.
me.
Yeah, you make it
Oh,
happen.
I'll tell you what. There's one banda that can make it happen. It's Devinder J,
I'll speak
and
to
I know
him. Yeah.
you've done him as well, haven't you?
What a guy.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy. Top bloke,
I
man.
feel like we need a part two to this because I haven't even stepped onto the that era of where I put the live band together, and then we did Sajana with Sajadan, and all that sort of stuff.
Do you want to do that then? Shall we stop it
Hey,
here?
this is
And we'll do
entirely up to
part.
you. That's a whole nother chapter. But this is a good introductory one to start with, I'd say.
Or we got a choice, guys. So we can either summarize it now in the next 20 minutes or so, or we can do a part 2. Tell mind you.
Mate, I'm happy to do a part 2. I've probably got too much to say about what's happened latterly and what's going to happen, what's coming in the future. So I don't want to summarize.
All right, let's do part 2. Let's do a part 2, bro. Because you know what?
Yeah, let's do
it's been such a privilege, and honestly, I'm utmost respect for you. But guys,
I hope I didn't bore the listeners with some of the technicals. I promise on the next one I won't.
No, honestly,
it was good chatting about it.
Honestly, Serge, right? that one was intentional. Now,
don't, man. I've literally had that for the last 15, 20 years. Literally.
So I'm coughing away. I can't go here. So honestly, what was I going to say? So the podcast has been my viewers. They love me talking about stuff like this because I started this podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Not for listeners, for myself.
Yeah.
It's my show to learn.
Everything you do should be for yourself primarily. And that's the best one.
And then that enthusiasm has spread to other people. Like, they want to hear. So when you're talking technically, do it because that's my niche, you see, bro. Like I'm able to talk because I'm a fellow musician. I'm able to talk about stuff that other podcasts can't. So other podcasts might ask you, like, what's your favorite color or something like that. That's not disrespect to the podcast, but
no.
You know what I mean, though.
You want to get that? You want to get out of business?
Yeah.
So on that whole Surge confusion note, what I will say is, so recently I was at a Mela, and I think I met. So this was in Manchester, and I met these dancers there. They're obviously old school dancers. And they were like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Can we get a photo?" Blah blah blah. Took a photo, everything. Yeah, nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. And the second question came out. So how are the rest of the brothers? I was like, oh no. She thinks I'm Sahotas. And again, I've had this the entire way up. I've had people come up to me like at gigs and shows and say, "Bro, long time, haven't seen you in ages." And I'm like, I don't recognize people, and sometimes my memory isn't that good. And I'm like, can't remember where I've seen you, bro. And they're like, "Yeah, man, you played at my brother's wedding 25 years ago." And I was like, that wasn't me. That was Sergit. And but yeah, no, it happens. I have to laugh about it now. I mean, like I said, this whole Sahotas thing, and on a serious note, it's probably given me a lot, but at the same time, it's probably come at a detriment to, having not being unique in an industry that now strives for kind of uniqueness. But anyway, we can touch on that.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss
for the next one.
And we'll discuss our strong opinions, and I don't care. I just want you to keep producing that kind of music, bro. So
I know you do. So do a lot of other people. But yeah, we can talk. We can talk all about that and all that stuff that's come with that.
Before we leave, I normally ask about musical excellence, but what it is. But I'm going to ask you that in the second episode. Okay?
Great.
We'll ask you that. So there's something for you to think about. I normally put people on the spot, but something for you to think about. What is musical excellence in your opinion? But we'll ask about that in the next episode because, dude, you've honestly utmost respect.
Thank you, man.
You've opened my eyes, bro. Like I just thought, like I thought you were just singing, but you've got so much musical depth. The production, and you see, and even the stuff with Sahotas, it's just amazing, honestly. Yeah,
it's been a journey, mate. Still going, but it's been a journey so far.
Yeah. So before we leave, if you let the listeners know where they can catch you on socials, and the rest we're going to talk about what's coming in the future, and then in part 2, Tiga. So just if you let us know where we can catch you on socials.
Well, Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. Yep, I've got 2 accounts on there because I've reached the limit on one. So one's literally Harvey Sahota. You'll see it. The other one's the real Harvey Sahota. And then on Instagram, which is probably my most preferred platform of choice,
Yeah.
it's at the real Harvey Sahota. Um, Again, there's a joke about that, which I will talk about on the next podcast. I'm also on X and Twitter or whatever it's called now, but I hardly use that a lot. But yeah, catch me on Instagram. That's the best place.
Brilliant.
At the real Harvey Sahota.
So, guys, this was part 1 of the interview with Harvey Sahota. So, make sure you tune in for the next part. And I've got to say, I loved chatting to Harvey. So, and I can't wait for part 2. We're gonna book the date in after this. So, I'm gonna get it in and have such a laugh and such a good time. So, guys, make sure you follow Harvey and make sure you leave a review. And also, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, please, as well. You know. So God bless you all, and until we meet again, until we meet part 2. So it's going to be, I think, a few episodes after this, probably, because I've got a few other artists. So we part 2. You'll have to wait for it, guys. So God bless you all, and peace, and you stay on hobby. All right.